Hi friends, Jen here with Serenity Hill Farmstead. Today, I'm going to talk to you about Hawthorn Berry. Now, if you missed the video where I made this and a whole bunch of other wonderful remedies here, wonderful tinctures and oils, I'm going to go ahead and put that video, the link for that, in the description box below, and you can check that out when you're done here. But I went over how to make this and the details behind that, so definitely check out that video if this is something that you want to make for yourself. Now, hawthorn is something you can use the flowers and the leaves. We are just doing the berries today. And the reason for that is because we are after its cardiac benefits. Hawthorn has antiarrhythmic, cardiac, antiseptic, hypotensive, and hypertensive properties. And I will explain that in a minute because that can be confusing. Then this is what we're after for. This is actually for someone, I made this for them, that is having a lot of cardiac symptoms, and we're trying to regulate that system. So let's talk about hawthorn. There have been a lot of studies on this amazing herb about how it supports and tones the cardiac system. So if you are having heart issues, first I want to say, if you're having heart issues, please don't mess around with that. When I was in paramedic school, there was a saying, time is muscle, and it is totally and completely accurate. You can't regenerate cardiac cells, people. So once you have cardiac death, that section of your heart does not regenerate again. So you don't want to mess around with that. You always want to make sure that anything that you are dealing with your cardiac system, with your heart, you make sure it is not emergent and that it is not something that needs intervention immediately. So there's my little caveat there. So now back to this. Let's talk about first how this can be hypertensive and hypotensive at the same time if you are not medical at all and don't understand those terms. Hypertensive means high blood pressure. Hypotensive means low blood pressure. So what this wonderful little herb does is regulate. So if you are hypotensive, it can bring your blood pressure up. If you are hypertensive, it can bring it down. How does that happen? Well, it can assist with dilation of the blood vessels and improve the oxygenation of your heart. When you are having, and I'm going to try not to get too technical here, but when you are having heart complications, heart problems, and you have an arrhythmia, so that means your heart is not beating correctly, that affects your oxygenation. So in basic anatomy, your heart has veins and arteries that go from and to it that are in charge of taking the deoxygenated blood that has already gone through your body to the lungs, picking up oxygen, and then coming back into the other side of the heart, and then have it disperse through the rest of the body. So if your heart is not functioning correctly, if you have an arrhythmia, that affects the oxygenation throughout your entire body. So that affects how much oxygen is going to be perfused through your cells, into your brain, into everywhere, into your gut. And you can have so many other spin-off issues just because you're having arrhythmia issues. You're having a heartbeat problem. So hawthorn helps regulate that by improving your oxygenation through your heart. So back to the blood vessels. What it does for the blood vessels, dilating the blood vessels means it opens them up. And when that happens, you get better circulation, you get better oxygenation, better perfusion, which means that's your circulation. That's your blood going to all the parts of the body as it should. When all of that is working correctly, your heart is not stressed. Your heart is good, it is calm, it is fine, it is doing its thing, it's hanging out. You don't have any major issues going on when your heart is working correctly. Hawthorn will also help tone your heart, so it'll help tone the muscle. And that's just kind of a fancier term for it helps your heart muscle get into its peak condition. Think of it a workout for your heart. Think of it as your pre-workout drink for your heart. There you go. So aside from all the awesome cardiac benefits, and really this is the primary thing, just kind of some side notes, is it does help with your digestion a little bit and your stress. And the reason is because of how it helps with perfusion. So really the digestive and stress benefits to this is because you are now perfusing your body way better. So you are not going to be as stressed and your digestive tract is going to work more optimally. Hawthorn is completely and totally safe for long-term use. However, if you want to get the best benefits from hawthorn, you need to use it regularly. This needs to be something that you are taking consistently for whatever your dosage is that works for you. You need to do that because I mean, all herbs are like this, but this one is specifically, once it leaves your system, you don't have the effects of it anymore. So you can take it in a tea form, or you can take it in a tincture form. Tincture forms, of course, are more concentrated, and this is my preferred choice. I prefer a tincture. I love tea, but when it comes to the herbs that you need to take a lot of, it is easier to take a tincture than it is to drink massive amounts of tea on a regular basis. It's time consuming. A lot of the teas that you would need to make, you can't just store them in the fridge. Some of them are more temperature sensitive, like mullein, for example. You need to take that hot. You don't want to make it and then stick it in the fridge. Drink 1 cup, stick it in the fridge, save it for later, bring it back up, warm it back up. You're breaking down compounds that way. You don't want to do that. So tinctures are they're easier, they're faster. So if you're taking regular, frequent amounts of an herb, tincture, look into tinctures because it's a good way to go. If you do want to use this as a tea, you are not going to do it as a standard infusion. You're going to do this as a decoction. Now, remember, we mentioned before that a decoction is a tea, but it's basically actively boiling it and then bringing it down and simmering it for a while. The time varies a little bit depending on the herb, and then cooling it and then drinking it. And that's how you really break into that herb and pull all the good properties out. And that is a little more time consuming. So again, my glasses are falling here. That is why tinctures are a good go-to for herbs like this. If you do want to give this tincture a try, always start with the lowest dose. You've heard me say this before. When you are starting with herbal medicine, you always start with the lowest possible dose that you can start with. So for Hawthorn, that is 1 milliliter 2 times a day. And you can go up to 5 milliliters up to 4 times a day. So you just kind of gradually do it. And the way I do it is 1 milliliter once a day, then 1 milliliter twice a day, then 1 milliliter 3 times a day. If you still need more of an effect, 2 milliliters twice a day, 2 milliliters 3 times a day, and so on and so forth. That's the way I handle dosing up when we are trying to get a dosage right when it comes to tinctures. So not tons of information on Hawthorn because it does one thing and does it well. It does it really well. This is definitely the go-to herb for cardiac everything. So get yourself some Hawthorn if cardiac stuff is in your family. This is definitely something to keep stocked in your home apothecary. If you are interested in learning more about herbs and how they can fit into your life, I want to invite you to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can get notified when we put out another video. And we will see you in the next video. Bye.